Hi, Kathy here from KathysKuteKreations. Today we're going to continue on the memory quilt. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to show you how I'm cutting out the fabric, keeping in mind that I'm not laying out my fabric. I went ahead and I've kept it folded. Then I'm going to cut it because, you know, I have all these irregular sizes and everything, and I'm going to be using the extra after I've cut out my square of the one piece I do, and you'll see it here in a minute when I show you, okay? So it's gonna be a lot easier just for me to talk while I do it, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's get started. Alrighty, so here's the first piece I'm gonna cut, and I'm not gonna show you every one I cut out because that'd be a long, boring video. But let me get you started on yours. Now, if yours is all square, then you just measure yours and that's it, you're done. I mean, some of mine are rectangle, they're all different sizes. So see, this is what I was talking about, how my fabric is still folded. All right, so we already know we want the back piece as well as the batting or wadding, whatever you call it. We want it a little bit bigger because it's going to pull in. All right. I did not wash my fabric. If you're one of those people that you want to wash your fabric, fine. But this is expensive fabric, so it's not going to need to be washed. It's some of the current stuff, so it's not going to shrink a lot and all the other stuff that the older fabric would do. And this has stabilizer on it, so this isn't going to be shrinking and pulling in. So all I did was smooth this out. So I know that first off, I want to have a little bit hanging over. So this is enough right here. And then I'll just go to the other side. Now nothing has to be perfect and exact because we're going to cut this down. Remember, when we get it ready to do the quilting on it, we have to cut it down because we have to make sure that we have an actual, in other words, when we put this together, because we know, remember, we're gonna quilt along, we're going to cut it down so it's like this. Okay? But it'll already be quilted. All of this will be quilted already. So that's the reason for this. So all I do is eyeball it. I want this much difference. Okay? Same thing on the other side. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this fabric. And I'll tell you what, this stuff feels like it's already been washed. It's all nice and soft. It almost feels like that t-shirt fabric. So then all I do is cut down here. All right? Then, I already know, now this has the selvage still on it. That's what this white part is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up. Okay? And I'm just going to like put it like about right there. So I've got the same amount on all sides. And then I'm going to cut this. Okay? And I'm eyeballing it. Now this ruler is not big enough because you want your ruler to go all the way off each end of your fabric. And you know, and if I get this too big, that's fine. Just don't shortchange yourself. Always go with more than with less. All right? And it doesn't need to be perfectly square on this piece of fabric. Don't worry about the perfection of this part, okay? So all I did was line it up here. It looks like it's about the same between here, this distance right here, and then go like this. Now, that piece is going to go with this. Okay, so that piece is done. Now, this is what I have left over. Let me make sure I've got the whole thing in the camera here for y'all to see. Okay, now remember, I have other pieces. So I'm looking at my pieces. Now, these little pieces here, which I'm going to show you, I have this little piece here and this little piece here. Okay, and I'm literally going to use this. I'm not making squares out of it. Y'all don't panic about how little those are, thinking, oh my gosh, she's going to make a square out of that. No, I'm not doing that. This is actually going to be applique on it because while you're doing this process of quilt as you go, you can actually applique also. Now I'm going to get one of my oblong pieces here, or rectangles, and see if it fits. If it does, I can use this fabric. But let's see. Okay, so this piece here, since I'm going to be cutting it down a little bit on this side because they're not even anyway, this is going to work. So see, I could do just like that. Now I don't think I have anything, a small strip, but remember, we're going to be making, in case I'm trying to see where my die is at, over here. Remember the die that I'm making. I'm going to show it to you real quick here. Remember now, this here, remember this, which I showed you before? Okay, this strip of fabric here, this goes on it. that would fit on it right there in order to make some of these. So I could do that, or I could just say, hey, I'll just wait, hold on to it, give myself extra. Doesn't make any difference because I'm going to be cutting off some here and some here. I don't think it's going to be this wide, but all I got to do is take my ruler, and I'm not going to shortchange myself because I never know what I'm going to do with this extra fabric. So this is enough right here. I'm going to come over here, go like that, and then I'm going to cut this strip off. Because I have an idea of what I'm going to do with this. So I just have this strip left over. This is, let's see, how many inches is it? 4 inches. So that's a 4-inch strip right there. And I'll set that aside. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some more pieces. Okay, so I did that one next, which is upside down, but I'll turn it right side up so y'all can see it. Okay, I did this one. And I cut it off. And now that piece right there is big enough for this one here. See that? So I can just turn it. So I'm getting like 2 per cut. You're going to be surprised by what I'm going to use this fabric for. I'm not saying anything now, guys. It's strictly a surprise. It will be the next project I make. So I don't want to mention it right now or what it is. I never know if you guys want to see me cut out more or not. So I'll go ahead and I'll cut out some more. I'm going to go ahead and get this big one, another small one probably, and then I'll come back and show you a little bit more. Okay, for this one, because this just is a little bit bigger, or longer I should say, than the bottom one, I'm not sure if I want to take this and turn it. See, I won't have enough room that way. So what I want to do is just make sure I go ahead and cut off enough on this here so that I don't shortchange myself, because that's just a couple, like about 1 inch more. All right, so I'll cut that. Okay, now this doesn't have any kind of stabilizer on it, but this was a favorite shirt that she really liked. So it is going to go on here in different sizes. That piece I kept the pocket. This piece I kept the pocket. And so I don't know where I'm going to incorporate them within the quilt here. Let's see if I'm going to do this. But I think, and then I can get these on the back side. So that should be enough. And of course this is cotton fabric, just like this, so it's not giving. And I'm going to cut just a little bit bigger than I need, just to be on the safe side. Okay, and then that's it, and we're going to start with the batting next. Okay, so I have my batting out here, and I've cut it, and it is in a great big huge roll. So some of them I used my rotary cutter, and some I used my scissors. And this is what it looks like when it's cut. And then all I'm going to do is take the top piece, flip this upside down because that is the right size, and then just put this on top of it. Because this is the side we're quilting on right here. All right, and we're only going to quilt on this part here because this is what gets discarded, is the back part. And so I'm going to stack all these up so that I'll be ready to quilt them. But before we do any kind of quilting, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut a piece of the batting for those that have never seen it cut. And I'm going to show you how I cut my square out. And then we're going to have to, the next thing we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to show you how to put your bobbin on your spool. And I also have a, which I'm going to try, I have one of those little electric bobbin winders. I'm going to try it on that also in case y'all have one of them. And then I'm going to show you some of the tools for marking. Because first off, you can use like a chalk pencil or chalk, but I wouldn't be using my friction pen on this. okay? And you can use your rulers if you want, but we'll go over that later. So I'm just going to cut out me a piece of batting here and show you how I do a piece, and I'll stack all this aside. And I forgot to say, whatever you do, do not iron your batting. Now, my batting is, I guess I'm going to show you what my batting is because I didn't think to show you, but let me get the package. This is a, this batting is a large roll because I buy a great big huge roll of it. It's called Toasty Cotton. Let's see if I can put it up here for you so you have an idea what it is. And this is what I buy right here. Toasty Cotton, 100% natural cotton quilting batting, and I buy 24-yard bulk roll. It's 90 inches wide. It's doubled over, and it is it's a lightweight, okay, because I don't want to make this blanket heavy because the fabric, these t-shirts, will literally make this blanket heavy as it is. Because remember now, you've got a piece of fabric here, a piece of fabric there, then you're going to have all this quilted, so that's going to make it hot. Now, I'm not going to quilt it densely, so therefore I'm not going to have a whole bunch of quilting on it. I want to separate a little bit of my quilting so that it's warmer, but still it's not going to be a hot blanket to be underneath. All right, so that's, I just want to come back and say that to you real quick. And now I just remembered another thing I want to say to you. I'm going to keep turning that on and turning it off. So when I go to quilting, I'm going to quilt, and I'm going to show you different quilting because I want to show you the quilting on the t-shirt. But I want to show you the quilting on this for all of those that are only doing cotton. They're not doing any t-shirt fabric. Because you can do this quilt along without t-shirt fabric. I just happen to be making a t-shirt quilt, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do, for example, this intricate stuff like right here. This has got a teeny weeny little opening on it, which you guys know this if you've got men's pockets like that, okay? Well, I don't want to quilt that down, so I'll end up pinning that open, do a little quilting on the inside, and then do some quilting around it on the outside. So I'll show you that part when I get to it, so that it gives you an idea of the different kind of quilting that I'm going to do, because I'll be doing it, I mean, I'm going to use the same thread. I'm not using different thread to do this, okay? All right, that's what I just wanted to say. All righty, so I've cut this with my scissors here off of the roll. It's doubled, see, it's twice as much. So I take it, and what I did was go like that. Well, actually I went the other way, so we'll flip it this direction. I got to keep it all going the same exact way. Once I start, I don't want to quit. Okay, so spread it on my table. Move that aside a little bit. There we go. I'm knocking everything off my table. Okay. Let me get this one here with the orange on it. Then I put it to the edge like this. Just like that. Spread it out. You know, if you got to re-iron this, by all means, go ahead and re-iron it. Smooth it out the best that you can. And this piece, I'm going to take my scissors, and not my scissors. I'm going to use my scissors on this side here, but I'm going to use my ruler. Now, I've come right on the edge of the fabric because I don't want to cut the fabric down any. Just like that. And take this and just slowly trim it. Like that. And then I'll go across the top up here, which I don't know if that's going to be in your way and block you or not. Like that. I did get a little bit of that fabric, but that's okay. And there you go. Then I'm going to flip it like this. And put that on it, just like that. Okay, that's it. I set it aside and go to the next one. Same thing, and just repeat until I'm finished. All right, so this is the batting that I got left over. All right, and these are all the pieces that I cut off when I had extras. Don't throw them away, because this is what we're going to use when we put it together. when we're going to get done with all of our quilting and we get ready to put it together, these are the strips that we're going to use, because we're going to literally quilt it with strips, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So whatever you do, just set that all aside when you're done with it. Don't pitch it or anything, okay? All right, so I'm going to stop for today. My dog is bothering me. And when we come back the next time, we're going to talk about the tools that we're going to use. I'm going to show you how to go ahead and wind some bobbins, and I'm going to probably wind, hopefully I've got at least, I'm hoping, at least 3 or 4, so I don't have to stop and rewind bobbins while I'm trying to quilt, because once I get to starting on my quilting, I just want to continue on the quilting. Now, I won't do anything with the borders or anything until we're totally finished and we're ready to put it together. Then we'll talk about the borders and how that goes on. Okay? All right. So I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Give this a thumbs up. If you liked it, make a comment or give it a thumbs up. If you haven't joined my channel yet, go ahead and join it. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.